We bring you back this noon with this live look right now from the WRL Storm Tracker. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is in that vehicle right now, traveling north on I-95. Has just crossed the Florida-Georgia line into Brunswick, Georgia right now. And you can see rain continues to fall there as that storm, Idalia, moves through Florida into Georgia and South Carolina next.
At least 11 people are being treated for various injuries after a Delta flight hit severe turbulence as it approached Atlanta. The plane from Milan had 151 passengers and 14 crew members on board. The FAA says the plane was roughly 40 miles away from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport when the shaking started. Delta issued a statement thanking the first responders who were on the scene when the plane landed. The airline also noted that Customs and Border Protection made sure that everyone was appropriately cleared. The family of a South Carolina teacher killed by a utility pole that went airborne is suing the utility company. A warning here, we're about to show you video of that awful moment. The woman walking there was Janelle Robinson, and last week a tractor trailer hit some overhead utility lines, causing several poles to fly through the air. And one of those poles struck Robinson. She later died of her injuries. The family contends the poles were not properly maintained, and they want the utility company to upgrade the power infrastructure and compensate them for pain and suffering. Just what a horrible incident.
Yeah, absolutely. We're tracking Idalia still, and the intensity of the storm, the gusts have dropped just a little bit, but it's still moving very fast.
Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking Idalia for us, and when we'll start to feel the effects here, Elizabeth.
We're starting to see some of the rain showing up on the radar in our southern counties right now. The heaviest rain bands are down here in South Carolina, and in this rain band, we have had some tornado warnings pop up. Of course, we have a tornado watch in effect for the coast, but not for our viewing area at the moment. It looks like most of the spin-up tornadoes would end up being around the coast. Now, from the center of the circulation all the way to our part of North Carolina is about 400 miles. So we are looking at a lot of rainfall ahead of this system, and all of this will pick up in intensity this afternoon, tonight, and early tomorrow morning before this storm moves out. I thought I would take a look at some of the rainfall totals. A few of these are offshore, but very close to where the storm made landfall. Almost 8 inches of rain just offshore, and then inland near the Georgia-Florida line, looking at 6.5 to 7 inches of rain. It would be heavier if the storm was moving any faster. It is, moving any slower. It's moving pretty fast at 20 miles per hour right now. But definitely storm surge, a huge issue for folks down in Florida. And of course, over the next day or two, we'll end up seeing some of the damage that was done from that storm surge. Here's a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. We have a cold front that's sitting across our area. And as we're seeing a little bit of tropical moisture come in, that front will actually magnify or make this a little worse than it would be if that front weren't here. It would be fairly light otherwise, but that front will enhance some of this rain. And we're starting to see some heavier showers down around Clinton, there in Sampson County, a little bit of light rain in the southern part of Cumberland County. We'll see this continuing to lift northward, and that rain will get heavier as we get closer to the evening commute. Here's a look at Futurecast. A little bit of light rain right now. By 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we start to see it picking up in intensity, especially around Fayetteville and Clinton. At 5 o'clock, we're seeing rain around the Triangle area, and from that point on, we're just going to see rain steady to heavy at times. At 5 a.m., lots of rain across the viewing area, and that'll start to pick up in intensity as early as 2 or 3 in the morning. But it starts to taper off at the latter part of the commute, and it may be out of the viewing area by lunchtime, out of the Triangle at lunchtime and out of the viewing area by around 5 o'clock. We have a tropical storm warning that's in effect up and down the coast. That does include Hoke, Cumberland, and Sampson counties. And I know we typically think of tropical storm warnings right along the coast, but we will see winds gusting to 40, 45 miles per hour in those counties, and so they're included in that tropical storm warning. Storm surge along the coast in blue there, 1 to 3 feet. Some of the areas around Cape Lookout and inland around the Sound could see up to 4 feet of storm surge. We take a look at the wind speeds. Look at this. It remains Category 1 all the way until it almost reaches Wilmington, and just past that, it becomes a tropical storm. So we do have the potential right along the coast to see some gusts up to 70 miles per hour. We also have a high rip current danger, not just now for the next several days, but into the weekend as well as that storm sits offshore. For our area, looking at 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts tonight, 40 to 45 around Fayetteville and over toward Goldsboro and Clinton. Of course, we have that flood watch that's in effect now through late tomorrow, looking at as much as 5 inches of rain in our southern counties, and that's where we'd have the best chance of seeing any flooding. Down near Wilmington in orange, that's where we'll have the best chance of seeing any tornadoes. tornadoes. You can see that's where the tornado watch is. We don't have much of a chance in our viewing area. 3 to 8 inches of rain along the coast, locally 10, winds gusting 40 to 60 or 70, and then we do have that potential for some tornadoes. We get past tomorrow, which will be actually a cool day at 74, and then we have some nice weather in the forecast around here and along the coast for the holiday weekend. It gets pretty hot by Labor Day with a high of 91. We'll be right back after your top stories.
The most experienced severe weather team.